Hi everyone, just a quick one. I've just turned the news off, it's so depressing. Really is. Let me just put my glasses on a sec. Did anybody see that expose on the United Nations last night? Wow. Wow. I think this is further proof that the United Nations will be identified as the disgusting thing that causes desolation. And when she stands in a holy place, and she will be primarily responsible for the start of the Great Tribulation, along with the cry of peace and security. The two will probably work hand in hand at some stage. But what about this supply chains that have been stopped? Didn't we say at the start of this Ukraine war and how convenient it was that it started up straight off the back of COVID 19? Simply because the majority of the world had basically give up on the idea of COVID 19. They got fed up with it. It was no longer scaring them, and most of them were just saying, fuck it, I'll do what I want. I don't care. I don't care. So, all of a sudden, we have an invasion of a country that just happens to have the majority of the grain supplies of the world. Come on, people. Put the dots together. The jigsaw pieces are there. Time to put them all in. Now in North Africa, expect millions and millions to starve, while the global elites, those that have orchestrated this planned starvation, will be very, very happy because this is panning out just the way they want it. They will get rid of all those useless eaters who they believe are taking the vital resources of this earth today. They believe that these resources are theirs alone. And so they don't want the commoners, the ones that they call the vulgar. They don't want them to travel and have a luxury life. They want to keep them locked in fear and eventually reduce the world's population. And it's looking like that is exactly what's going to happen. These are sad times. These are critical times. I thought the beginning of the pangs of distress may have started in 1914, according to some theologians, but the culmination and the time for those pangs of distress to reach a peak and culminate in the start of the much more critical times, the critical times that will eventually lead to another global cleansing. I actually think when the Great Tribulation starts, although it is going to be the most harrowing time in human history, and what's happening at the moment seems bad, but believe me, it's the tip of the iceberg, because what's coming is going to knock that into insignificance. I mean, 1929, the Great Depression was terrible, and millions of people took their own life. I should imagine that during the Great Tribulation, the same thing will happen. People will not be able to cope. Time for survival thinking. It's not great when you put the news on and all you have is just either planned strikes, planned starvation, another phony war. Yeah, how convenient, eh? That they start a war. I could not believe it when it started up, but then when I gave it greater consideration, I realised what Ukraine is to the world. Not only does it hold all the dirty secrets of the United States, it is also a contributor to the world's grain. Oh dear. And to blame it all on Vladimir Putin. Not so simple, is it, as that? No. It will get worse. Much worse. It's like watching an epic show, isn't it? And you're just waiting to get to the final conclusion of that epic show, so that you can well, there is no resting place with this, unfortunately. You can't just shut your eyes, can you, and say, I want the world to be a better place, because it's not going to be a better place, not if Satan's got anything to do with it. And that is why the United Nations is that disgusting thing. It is trying to do the job of what only God's kingdom will accomplish. And we know that God's kingdom will stop all wars, because they will beat their swords into plowshares. And they won't learn war anymore. So there'll be no famines under God's messianic kingdom. And there'll be no deaths. There'll be no corruption. There'll be nothing that is remotely associated with Satan's system. It'll be completely the opposite, where everybody will seek to be righteous. And that's why we need it. And I mean, we really need it. I want it to come. A lot of Christian thinking people, they want it to come. And it will. Just can't go on the way it is. Something is going to pop. The system is going to pop. And it's going to come crashing down. The house of cards is going to come crashing down. The final domino will be pushed for the rest to fall. And can't you see that that is lining up right now to happen? It's a bit hot away in a hotel at the moment, and I'm not drinking enough water. I've got to do that. I've got to start looking after myself a bit better. Anyway, take it easy, everyone. These are depressing times, I know. Bye-bye.